So AI is changing the way that businesses operate, how we approach the law, and it's playing a big role in legal decisions. Now, Australia has taken what we see to be a firm stance on how it's going to be regulating this AI moving forward. And we kind of want to have a look and unpack that today. And we have Drugan here, our special counsel, who will help us dive deeper into this topic. So starting off, where does Australia sit in terms of regulating AI? How has that started and where is it kind of moving?
So the government was originally heading towards mandatory rules, specifically being obligations that businesses using AI would have to comply with. But that was abandoned after the release of the National AI Plan in December of 2025. So the context being is that, the AI regulation would work within existing laws.
Oh, what do you attribute the shift in approach to? Do you think that this is economically driven, or the technology was just changing and developing at such a rapid rate that the initial plan was sort of outdated?
Well, the economic factor was a major role.
Okay.
The Australian Productivity Commission estimated that the AI industry would be worth $116 billion to the economy over a decade. And overregulation could put that investment at risk. So also the large technology companies were pushing back against overregulation. They felt that the existing laws were sufficient to address any concerns. And you also had the Australia looking at other countries. The US was quite relaxed in its regulation. The EU was also reconsidering its approach, and Australia had to adjust.
Is this uniform internationally? Have a lot of countries, to your knowledge, also sort of abandoned initial plans to have more comprehensive plans or statute and now shifted to let's work within the existing frameworks that we know and we're used to using?
Well, one of the issues with AI is that the risks are known.
Yes.
So existing laws deal with specific identifiable catalysts. Yeah. So you know who sold you goods in terms of the consumer context. You know what the product was. So there's a chain of causation there and in questions of liability. But in AI, as AI develops and its responses and its capabilities increase, you have this emergent quality about it. So you can't legislate for something that you don't know. So that's an important factor. So systems are now being in place to accommodate that uncertainty. And this is the government's approach at the moment.
Without a strict AI statute where we have specific regulators that carry oversight, how will it be monitored?
Well, you have the AI Safety Institute that's being set up by the government. They've put $30 million setting that up. So that will sit across the regulators. So you've got privacy regulators, you've got the consumer regulators, you've got the workplace, work employee regulators, and they will sit across that. So it's up to the regulators to make sure that the AI is being used responsibly and identifying those issues that need to be identified, and the AI Safety Institute will sit across that and find those emerging issues where they will make recommendations to the government about whether or not and how to properly address it.
From a business perspective, what would you say that businesses or decision makers should do to make sure that they are firstly just aware of the many different and changing regulations, and what should they do moving forward to make sure that they are compliant with all different Australian laws and regulations?
So from a privacy perspective, from December of 2026, businesses will be required to ensure that their privacy policies will reflect a business use of AI and how those decisions that are made by AI affects its customers and clients. So for example, if a bank is using AI to approve loans, in circumstances where insurers are using AI to set premiums. So you've got those issues. So businesses will be required to inform the public about how they use the AI and what decisions are going to be made by AI.
Yeah. And I can imagine that that would also be reviewing existing policies
absolutely.
Regularly,
Absolutely.
almost every quarter, to make sure that they are compliant, making sure that advisors are cross-disciplinary. So we need privacy specialists to be able to work through the very, very confusing state of the Privacy Act in Australia right now. We've spoken about the Privacy Act a lot on this podcast. And then also, having other parts of the business, potentially in from a marketing perspective as well, to give that important context as to how consumer data is leveraged in marketing. So making sure that you've got the right variety of advisors, you're aware of any legislative changes coming in, and I guess just taking all the guidance that will no doubt be released by each individual regulator in their respective areas.